Weekly Game Talk.
Hey everybody, this week we play through The Flame in the Flood, a post-societal adventure game where your goal is to travel downriver until you reach safety. Developed by the Molasses Flood, the game was released in mid-February across multiple platforms and has seen relatively positive reviews. How did we feel about the game? Stay tuned to find out. Hey everybody, welcome to this week's Weekly Game Talk. Today, I'm joined with three guests to talk about The Flame in the Flood. So let me introduce those guests real quick. Returning is JP Smee. This is, I think, your fourth? Is this the fourth one we're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Your
think
fourth
so.
time guesting with me, so thanks. I appreciate that. Welcome.
Yep.
We also have Will back. He was with us last week to talk about Dungelot, so thanks for coming back, Will.
You are welcome.
And joining us for the first time, and hopefully not the last time unless we completely embarrass and scare him away, is Jatois. So thank you for joining us, Jatois.
What's up?
All right, so as I mentioned before, this week we played the Flame in the Flood. So let's just quickly share our impressions of the game off of the 5 areas that we normally grade on: artistic value, gameplay, story, biggest surprise and biggest gripe, and then our overall verdict of the game. So to kick us off with artistic value, I'll start with our newest guest, Jatois. What did you think about the artistic value of the Flame in the Flood?
To tell you the truth, when I first jumped in, I looked around. I was like, man, this world is beautiful. And then I got my first close-up on the main character, and it scared the hell out of me. It looked like a straight zombie, just a polygon zombie. And I tried my hardest not to look back at her the entire time I played this game.
Wow, okay. All right. I mean, like, so the visual style was not your cup of tea.
Definitely not.
What about the sound? What about the audio?
Sound quality, I loved it until I got to, there was some song in there where a guy started to sing, and I was like, whoa, I don't know if it's Willie Nelson or what just happened here.
You didn't
but
like that?
I didn't. I normally, when I'm listening to music, I'm used to hearing things like Curtis Schweitzer or Jeremy Soule, where there's no audio, really, there's no one singing in there. And all of a sudden, I hear this guy chime in. He's like, "Oh, they shot my dog, and it's all gone." I was like, "Oh my god, what is going on here?"
Wow.
I got a zombie girl and some country music, which I like country music, but not that one. That was not for me.
Okay. All right. Well, Will, what did you think about it? Because I didn't expect that from Jatois.
Oh my God, that was funny. Yeah. I like the graphics a lot. This game has a shitload of production value. Like it really does. The just everything has a specific quality and a specific like style direction to the graphics. It's just great.
You're
Like,
totally
seriously.
bullshitting me. You could give two shits about how the game looks. It's okay.
Oh no, I'm serious, man. These games like the half like the animation, like it looks kind of like animation. It's not exactly realist. It's definitely
Stylized, I think,
just
is the word
Right.
you're
There,
looking for.
yeah, style. It's got a cartoon vibe to it in a way. Yeah.
yeah. And it just
Any
works.
any thoughts on the sound?
Well, what Billy was saying about the character, she looks like that because it's kind of the way the world is dark and
Yeah.
messed
Right.
up.
Right.
Yeah, everything's a little warped.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of that works with me.
But audio wise, what'd you think? Did you like the my dog got shot and ran over by a car?
No, actually, I thought about muting the music as soon as that.
Oh my god.
But I love the music itself, though. The violin, the kind of folky sound to it.
So you liked the
Specifically the singing.
okay? So you liked the score. You just did not like the musical interludes during some of the rafting sequences. Okay.
The lyrics don't need to be there.
All right.
There you go.
All right. JP Smee. Anything you want to add to their wonderful opinions?
Well, I gotta say I kind of disagree on the vocalizations. I think it definitely captured the spirit of what was going on. Although I did see the same problem that you encountered with Life is Strange, with looping, because that happened, and I don't think it was supposed to, because it didn't happen every time I played. Most of the
Right.
times it didn't, but the one time it did, it was like, okay, you can stop singing now.
Yeah,
Please
right, right.
stop. As far as the visual style, yeah, I dug it. It very much reminded me of Psychonauts. I don't know if any of you guys ever played that back in the day, but
I could see that reference.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a super nerd for that highly stylized, warped vision of the world, and I think it did a good job at kind of conveying the. I'm assuming it's a post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah, the way I described
it.
it was post-societal because they don't
Right,
necessarily,
that's a better.
yeah, they don't describe an apocalyptic event, although you can kind of imply that by just what's going on in the game and the title of the game. But since it's never really explicitly stated, it seemed more like kind of like that book/movie The Road, where you can assume something apocalyptic happened, but they never really get into it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, see, at least you were a voice of reason when it comes to the sound, because I really enjoyed it. Both the score aspects of the music. It was a little repetitive. There's probably only 3 or 4 songs to the game total.
Yeah.
But they fit the tone of the game. They fit the sense of loneliness, the sense of longing, and the sense of adventure at times. Like, I felt like the few songs that were there kind of covered all those emotions very, very well. And I did not mind the singing. I was a little confused. I'll admit I was thrown off when it started the first time. I'm like, is some event happening that I'm not aware of? Like, is my character about to have a cutscene or something like that? But I overall, I really liked it. Art style wise, the first thing that popped into my head when I saw the game in motion was James and the Giant Peach.
That's another good, yeah, absolutely.
Very good reference to it.
Yeah, it looks like a stop motion kind of puppet animation style, and me personally, I love that visual style. I really dig it. I like the way the character moves. I love the way the dog moves and the way the dog
Has glasses.
it finds things. It's got this little backpack. It catches your little walking stick when you get on the raft. I love all the little visual touches with the raft and the water and all that. Like,
Best opening ever with the dog.
yeah, the little dog getting the backpack.
I
Now,
don't know. That was a bit repetitive. I honestly did go a few times and died quite a few times, and after seeing it that many times, I was like, all right, yes, dog, backpack, all right, cool.
now, no, but
But
however,
the
I will
story is,
say,
though, never mind.
well, no,
Well,
I will
no,
say
I
there is a
have a
gameplay
question.
reason behind that intro.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was about to ask. So, did anybody else get the vibe that the corpse at the beginning was you from your previous run?
Yes.
Because I think that's what it's supposed to be.
Right.
Not
either
only
that or
are
the
you supposed to
dog's
get
last
that
master.
vibe, not only are you supposed to get that vibe, but the pack will have in it whatever
That's
you
right.
had in Aesop's bag
That's
Yeah.
prior to death.
yeah.
so-
That's so
I should have
messed
used
up.
Ace up a bit more.
Oh yes, yes. He inadvertently makes the game a lot easier, at least at the beginning.
Yes.
Especially if you make it far and then you die and then you just
Okay.
put all your stuff in the bag and yay.
Well, hey, now since we're kind of already moving that direction, JPSP, why don't you go ahead and get us kicked off with the gameplay discussion? What did you think about the gameplay of the game?
I liked it. It's kind of got that survival thing. I saw a lot of people say roguelite. I'm not entirely sure that that's an accurate description for this title, other than the sense of permadeath, or at least the way I played it.
I kind of feel like anytime a game now has permadeath or something like that, something where you die and have to start over again, roguelike is just instantly associated with it at this point.
And I find that to be a little bit frustrating because it kind of misrepresents the game. It's very close to another title, which is Don't Starve, which I
Very.
thoroughly loved, and I enjoyed that with this. One thing that is my biggest gripe with that, I'm going to actually save because we have a gripe section, so I'm going to wait.
Okay,
That's all I
cool.
got. I just realized I was going on, so yeah.
All right, no worries. Okay, so Jotois, what'd you feel? How'd you feel about the gameplay?
Gameplay, I thought this game actually handled itself really well. It was really fluid. It handled itself frames per second wise. It was fantastic. I mean, there's the art style does not really tax the system, so that
Right,
kind
yeah.
of lends to the gameplay a lot. So I mean, I felt myself. I see something, I can run over, grab it real quick, and then keep running and try to keep myself alive that little bit longer. Uh, since I play a ton of crafting survival games, I feel that it could have probably borrowed some aspects of some other games a bit more and kind of made itself into a better crafting survival game. Although I found myself not really liking the sailing parts when you're on your raft, I found myself kind of
Really?
that wasn't and you know what's funny is I play Don't Starve Shipwrecked, and
Hmm.
I'm used to getting on my raft, getting off my raft, getting on land, getting everything done.
Right.
So I'm not the water part, and it doesn't seem to be controlling very well once you're into the water and the rapids. Even sometimes I found that my controls, when I decided to switch from WASD over to the mouse controls, because you can control it with just your mouse look as well, that
Right.
sometimes took a few seconds before it actually kicked over, which actually was really frustrating when you smash into it and now you have the zombie girl's face getting even more horrifying. So that tends to make things a little
Zombie
unnerving.
girl. That's all. That's all I can call her now. Is zombie girl. I don't know if they ever give her name out, but she's now zombie girl to me. Thank you. Just
You're
while
welcome.
you've ruined that permanently
Real
for me.
quick, did anybody else play with the controller?
I did. I played with both,
Okay.
and I would say that, and I'm a controller fanboy coming from the consoles, but for this particular game, there were certain aspects that played better with keyboard and mouse. Um, Specifically, the rafting sequences. You could be a lot more precise with um, going back and forth with your arrow keys or the WASD keys versus using the joystick on the controller. But actually, like walking around once you've landed, use going through your pack, the crafting interface, all of that, I found actually worked better with the controller. So it was kind of a mixed bag either way for me, depending on what method you use to control the game. Um, Will, I'm gonna hold off on you, and I'm gonna go first. Just since I'm already talking, I might as well just keep going. Um, I found myself getting lost in the game in a good way. Um, kind of, I did a video recently for Out There, and I described that game as a one more time kind of game where you keep saying just one more time, and then an hour later, it's been like 31 more times. Um, that was how I approached this game. If I died, I would go one more time, and I'd do it again, and then if I died, I'd just keep playing. If I found a dock and got resupplied, and I was on the verge of death beforehand, that would suddenly reinvigorate me, and I'd go from wanting to stop playing to playing for another hour. I had a hard time putting the game down. Um, the and this is not exactly getting into the biggest gripe territory, but kind of echoing what Dutois was saying. The crafting interface and just some of the item and inventory management aspects of the game could definitely use some finessing. Um, I feel like they took influence from other survival games and maybe should have done that gone a little further with where they started. The systems aren't bad, but like rapidly trying to switch between your packs and the worst was like you'd be walking around and a boar would be coming at you, and you'd want to switch really quick over to drop a spear trap. Or in my case, I was able to craft a bow and some arrows. The bow and arrow interface, holy fuck, it sucks. Um, it there's no like, especially when you have a controller in your hand, you just want to be able to click, like the right trigger and start shooting some arrows, just letting them fly. But no, I have to go to the arrow item in my pack. I have to click on it. Then the arrow interface comes up and I have to click A when it's pointing in the direction I want. Like, by then I'm dead. The wolf has already eaten me and pissed all over my corpse. Like, it's they really need to work on the combat and and some of that inventory management. Other than that, the raft sequences, all of that stuff, the different mechanics with getting tired, getting cold, which, by the way, I got to the 9 out of 10 checkpoints. By the time you get to that point, it is raining almost nonstop. It is freezing cold even during the daytime, and unless you have like full wolf or bear outfit, you will freeze to death very quickly. I've yet to beat the game because I keep freezing to death. So it's I don't mind it. I think that's neat. I wish I would have prepared a little bit earlier on in my playthrough, because I don't have full boar or wolf outfit or bear outfit, so I'm freezing every 2 seconds. But I think I've rambled on long enough. Will, what did you think about the gameplay?
So I can continue on with what you were talking about, because you kept freezing because you didn't have enough old lumber. Because apparently you have to have old lumber to kindle a fire out of nothing.
Yeah.
Which is one of the arguments I have about what you're talking about with the misgiven implications on what you have to have at all times. Like, well, let me step back for a second. When I started the game, I didn't realize you could put items into the raft. So for the first hour of the game, it was like a full inventory simulator for me. It was
So
just
you
like constantly dropping items, picking up items, completely confused the whole time. Because the inventory and the crafting are on two different menus, so you're constantly switching back and forth between each one. The items in the list, they take up a whole rectangle, a whole giant rectangle, so they look like just stupid menu items instead of actual items in inventory. Also, Minimap. Minimap is a roguelike thing, and it's missing a map, like a real map, while you're actually out in the lands.
You know, I was actually, that's a really good point. I noticed that I played a little bit today. I noticed that for the first time that I didn't have that, because I couldn't remember where the hell the bus was on one of the maps I was on.
Yeah. So, and also it says old lumber, but right next to you is some old ass lumber on the fence. But you can't make a fire to that old lumber.
That's not your lumber. You can't have it.
So,
I mean, that might be a little nitpicky, but I mean, I understand what you're saying. If it's you're looking at it from like what's a game Ark recently, or other games where basically if you see it, you can break it and you can turn it into something.
Yeah.
And
so if
this is a little bit more curated of an experience.
Not many games will give you that.
Yeah, it needs a more fun-enabled inventory and crafting. It needs a mini-map, and it would be worth $20. But I played it for 2 hours and returned it. Sorry to start my gripe session early.
Fair enough. Well, we're almost there.
Straight into it.
I know we're almost there. So, since you're talking now and you sound so passionate, what about the story? Did you have any thoughts at all about what story there actually is in the game?
Well, the story is pretty great. I mean, it's basically just about like kind of a lone survivor, right?
Mm-hmm.
She meets up with a dog, and it's continual, just adversity and having shitty shit happen to you while you're going down. I mean, they don't tell you. They don't really. I didn't get to the point where they tell you what happened to the world, if they ever tell you that.
I haven't reached that point either. I have.
It looks like we can assume that it's a global warming situation, possibly, or perhaps other catastrophes have occurred.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there are definitely lots of hints here and there, like flavor, like world flavor. But yeah, I didn't see anything that explicitly said why things were the way they were.
The best thing about the characters was the art, basically. Like, I mean, all you have is that little 2D art to go on, and it's pretty great.
Right. So what do you think, JP Smee, about the story?
I enjoyed it. I think it kind of like what we were talking about. It's very straightforward in what it is, and it doesn't try to be anything more than what it is. It does a good job at introducing concepts and locations and kind of characters, because there's a couple of characters that you learn about that you never actually see. At least I never actually saw them, and I sadly can't remember any of their names, so that's totally useful. But like I remember like I found this quilt.
Yeah,
Way
I think it's
early
Big
on.
Jim, if I recall.
Something like
Yeah.
that, and
Yeah.
it's like it kind of gives you this little story about this other character who presumably went on before you, and it's like, okay, that's kind of cool. I kind of dig that. And I had a few interesting encounters with NPCs. One of which was an old lady with a shotgun who wanted to tell her a
Yes.
story, and that was highly
Yes.
entertaining. Just all sorts of random little flavor stuff like that. Whereas a lot of games of this type, like, and I'm no expert at them and by any stretch, but like Don't Starve, I love it, but I'm really terrible at it. I never got anything like that out of Don't Starve. Whereas with this world feels a little bit more lived in. So I liked it. I was simple and it was good.
All right. Well, what about you, Jatwa? How do you feel about the story?
Uh, I think the first thing I would say was what story. There was when I got into it, it was just like little
Jesus
scary
Christ.
girl is dropped into here. There's a dog. Hey, hi, dog. It's right into the game.
Emergent
was-
gameplay.
There
Come
was
on.
no immersion. I was not immersed at all.
Fuck
It was just like-
subtlety.
it was just like, here, go. But I mean, I've seen that happen in Fallout, and Fallout was really great. You walk out of the vaults, and there's a dog. Hi, dog. Let's go find my kid. But there was like nothing of that here. It was just like, hey, let's go places. Here's my raft. Where the hell did you get a raft from? Where'd the
Okay.
raft come from?
No,
How'd you get to that area?
That's
I mean,
fair
the
enough.
dog-
It is valid. It is
there's
valid.
there's like no build up. It's just like there's a dog grabbing a thing from a skeleton. Give me that. What's in that pack? I don't know. Could be explosives. Let's open it up and find out. Throw it on your back. Let's go adventuring. What? What?
No, I
It just didn't make sense to me when it first. I mean, for a game that I can honestly say, I mean, I still have the game. I still intend on playing it more because it's very smooth. It's kind of fun at times, but the story just wasn't there to me.
I think I do agree with you in terms of the setup. I feel like this game would have benefited from like a minute and a half long prologue
Exactly.
in a very like folksy kind of very stylized painterly style, kind of like the little intros to like Guild Wars 2, something kind of visually looking like that, where it just gives you a little bit of a, with no details. It could say something like the calamity happened and society started breaking down and my dog got hit by a car.
Because you totally just quoted a game that I was about to say would have made this a whole lot better, and that is Bastion.
Yeah,
If
and
this game had
yeah.
a Bastion narrator, it would have been absolutely perfect.
You done fell down again, kid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, actually,
Sorry.
that could really apply to any game. Truth be told,
Right.
but this game I think would have benefited fantastically with
Maybe
something.
Yeah.
a little
Okay.
intro with some guy singing his folksy song in the background while they're like, no, kid, you found a backpack.
No, I agree. No,
something. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think that's really valid. It honestly, I hadn't really thought about that until you mentioned it. But no, that is definitely a good point. I think it would have immediately created a connection between you and the game that
Exactly.
I think would have, for some people who pick this up, without that they may not really have that much interest to continue playing it.
Exactly. 'Cause
So
there's what is there to go for if you're not immersed in the story? If you
Right.
just said go survive, okay, great.
now, as somebody who has gotten as far as I have can tell you, the story does get better. It does start cluing you in on some of the things that happen in the world. I encountered, I think, about 4 or 5 different NPCs, and then at each of the major checkpoints, like once you reach the radio tower, there's another checkpoint called the Angel Yard, and then there's a final one called the Kingdom, which I've not yet reached, so I'm assuming that's the end of the game. But at the radio tower and at the Angel Yard, there were 2 NPCs that kind of clue you in onto what's going on and certain things. So, JP Smee, I think you hit it really on the head. It's more of an emergent story. It unfolds over time. What you get at the beginning is more like visual story, telling the story by what you see and kind of what you can infer. Like in that starting area, When you go to the cabin, she mentions that she's already looted it. When you look at the top of the cabin near the fire where you start, SOS is written really big on the top. So it kind of seems like she's been stranded there. She's been marking the roof SOS, thinking that planes overhead might see and come rescue her. Where the hell the dog came from and the raft came from, fuck knows. But what you get very early is only told really through little visual touches here and there. And it's not until you get further into the game that you start to kind of learn more about the world and learn more about the characters. Like I ran into a witch doctor lady, 2 feral kids that kept giving me arrows, which was awesome. The old lady with the shotgun you mentioned. This old guy who is outside of a church burying bodies.
Yep, I ran into him.
There was somebody else I encountered. There was a old prospector guy who at one point in the story your raft gets destroyed and he helped put it back together again for you. So kudos to that guy. Some old dude who tried to fucking swindle me out of some bullshit. I can't even remember what his name was or what it was, but he offered me a trade for something. I'm like, fuck you, buddy. No. He wanted me to give him my bow and some arrows for and he was going to give me a rabbit skin or something like that. And the bow is the only weapon, I believe, if I recall correctly, that can take down a bear. So I just gave him the middle finger and kept on walking. But
I didn't see the control button for that one.
Yeah, well, it's buried. You know, you got to dig for them controls. It's like Control Shift A. No, I'm just kidding.
It's to the dev console.
Right, exactly. Console commands. But no,
the infinite middle fingerage.
I get your thoughts on the story, and I understand it gets better, but it definitely, I think if it had a stronger start, it really could have drawn you in more.
It needs a better hook.
Yeah.
Yes, it definitely does. Because right now you're just throwing a lead ball into the water and you're trying to fish. And just no bait, no hooks. It's just like, all right, if it hits you on the head, you might like this, but it doesn't work that way for everybody.
No, I get it. I get you. So that actually, this kind of, the tone of our conversation is leading us perfectly into the next section. Biggest surprise, biggest gripe. I'll go ahead and start because mine are pretty quick. For me, the biggest surprise was the sheer amount of times I died and yet still wanted to keep playing. Normally, when I pick up a game and all I do is die, I rage quit so fast. But something about this game really made me want to keep going. And I think that was a combination of the style, our style, and the gameplay. As annoying as it could be at times, I just wanted to keep trying. I knew I could do better. I knew I could get further, and it just kept forcing me to keep going. And my biggest gripe / disappointment I've kind of already touched on were the combat controls. You reach a point in the game where every single time you stop, there is either a boar coming after you, or 3 wolves chasing you, or a bear chasing you. And you don't even have the opportunity to reach some extra saplings and some feathers to be able to make more arrows. They need to have a better ammunition system. Either give me unlimited arrows or make them much easier to make or something. And then also make being able to fire my bow or lay my traps much simpler. I should not have to go through either that janky-ass quick menu on the left or my full inventory to be able to set a goddamn trap or, for the love of God, shoot my fucking bow. God. I shot a bear in the face. And admittedly, that would piss me off too. I understand why he was upset. It's okay. So he starts running after me. I have no time to click on a menu button, click A, wait for my little arrow, because the way it works is these 2 lines show up pointing off in perpendicular directions, and they have to slowly converge forward. And I don't have time for that bullshit when a bear is charging at me trying to rip my fucking face off. No, I should just be able to click, 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 boom, 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 boom. I need to samurai this fucker right in the face. And it really pisses me off. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. I'm done. Will, let's start with you. What was your biggest surprise and what was your biggest gripe?
So, I think I think my biggest surprise um, would be how even though it's been done before with the formula of the game, how different it is overall in the art style and just the fact that the raft is part of it, and you have to take the raft from basically island and you know piece of land to another one. So the newness kind of was a big surprise. Like overall, just I knew what to expect, but what I actually saw was great. The again, I loved the music, even though the lyrics were kind of weird in there.
Right.
Um, but and biggest gripe, I'm kind of there with you. I was really immersed in the game, and then suddenly the inventory and crafting menu design, the lack of a map, and just kind of got frustrated pretty quick.
Okay.
Um, so definitely.
All right. No,
Uh,
I understand. JP Smee, what about you?
The entire time we've been talking, I've been trying to figure out what my biggest surprise was, and I kind of hate to say it, but I didn't really find anything all that especially surprising, and that kind of ties into the biggest gripe. As much as I enjoyed the game, and I really did, I feel like it didn't really do anything new. Um, not like noteworthy. And my ultimate biggest gripe is actually one that's kind of a problem with this like subgenre across the board, and that is I feel like the barrier of entry for the crafting is just a little bit too high early on. Um, and this is a great, again, it's not just this game, it's like any survival crafting game. If I have a knife, I should be able to use it as a weapon or at least some form of self-defense. I've got a stick, but all I can do is wave it. Well, I've got a knife, I've got a stick, and I've got a whole bunch of twine. Why don't I just tie the knife to the stick and make a spear? Like those are things that I feel like they should have at least given us the option to fail at. Like, hey, you
Right.
try it and then it falls apart or something to like explain. Okay, maybe it's just a little too powerful early in the game. So that's just a continuous gripe that I have, and I feel like I'm always gonna have that. And I know it's a balancing thing. I get that,
No,
but
I think
it
you're
kind
right. It
of
makes sense.
yeah, it kind of pulls me out of the experience a little bit. So,
Right. Now, well, say what you want about Minecraft, but the original crafting system where there was no hand holding, but it encouraged experimentation and encouraged you to try to put different things together to see if you could make something. And then that feeling of rewarded you would get when you figured out a recipe and it actually was something. And those recipes more or less kind of made sense for the world. Um, Something like that, I think, would maybe add some value to the game. But just, I guess, crafting that made more sense overall, I think, is what you and Will are both kind of getting at.
yeah,
it
there's no
it even
reward in any of the menus.
I mean
There's a
I'm
lot of reward
torn.
in looking at the screen, but nothing in the inventory or crafting is rewarding.
Right.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of torn because I liked, honestly, I didn't have any problems with the actual crafting system, and I feel like I should clarify that. For me, at least, it was completely fine. It's just I wasn't terribly happy with some of the recipes. Uh, like I mentioned, the knife thing, or you get a hammer at one point, but
So,
that's only to make other things. Okay, that's fine.
right.
Um, I liked that the game kind of introduced recipes to you when you needed them. Although I kind of feel like it would have been a little bit more entertaining if I had found the recipe somehow, or there would have been a little more engagement
Now
rather
that'd have been
than
more loot that Will would have got pissed off over.
right. True, true. But I mean, like rather than I
I
magically
found this goddamn recipe 4 times. I need wood.
Oh, I was definitely cussing, and I realize now it was definitely bad
user error.
thinking. I was just frustrated, gave up early. I'm gonna own up to that.
Yeah, no, I did that.
Quitters never win, Will.
I did that last week, and then I went back into the game. So it's completely understandable. I I think JP Smith. I also kind of get what you're saying too. I feel like the survival genre right now, they're creating these artificial barriers to try to, I don't know what they're trying to do, encourage you to explore the game or do this, but they're putting these weird barriers. Before you can do this, you have to get these things, and none of them really make sense or tie together.
It's totally arbitrary, and
yeah.
it's kind of a way of trying to meter or slow your progress to make you go down a certain path that they want you to go down. And I mean, on one hand, I get that, but I feel like it would be a better experience overall if they let us fail. Please, I'm okay with failing. Let me fail. I'm really good at it. I promise you. But games that let me fail, like you mentioned, Minecraft is a great example. I tend to enjoy them more. And Jatois, you're a great example with Kerbal Space Program. Like, that game is all about failing in spectacular ways.
Yeah, and iterating until you find the right
perfect
combination.
Let me learn and fail and do my Dark Souls routine where I die 1,500 times, but I learn from each death.
Right.
I didn't really get that from this, whereas I felt like I should have.
Right. All right, Jatois, how do you feel? What was your biggest surprise? And maybe not even necessarily a surprise, but maybe something about the game you were surprised you actually liked. And then what was your biggest gripe? I'm scared about that one.
I think my biggest surprise is when I first jumped in and I saw that. I don't know if you can find a picture or a close-up of that.
I just made one at the camera. I don't know if it was approximate.
Terrifying face of that girl. I'm telling you, first time the zombie girl, when she first popped up on the screen,
Jesus, Van Gogh.
I jumped. I was like, oh, that's her. Why?
She's like Sloth from the Goonies.
Yeah,
she has a lazy face.
Oh my god!
Literally, the polygon.
So not
it's
right.
like the divide cut across her face, like it's an artificial nose that's been broken, and it's all the way to the side. And it's like, why is this? I don't know if she's like already dead and she's just re-dead, and you're just playing her again. Already
re-dead.
She's one bad case of pink eye away from being a zombie.
She dead, and now she re-dead.
She's a re-dead, and Link's going to come over and kill her when she gets to the kingdom. That's what's really going to happen right now.
Wow.
Where did Link come into all
I don't know. Well, you know what's funny is because I was going to make a reference to the Wind Waker, because it's the rafting aspects and having to constantly go from one point to another via a ship kind of has a Wind Waker vibe, but I highly doubt that's where he was going with that reference.
No. I was going with Link and Zelda, but still.
Which, by the way, Wind Waker is a Zelda game for.
I wasn't gonna give him shit, but it's okay.
No. I was just mentioning. I'm not really big
no,
on
no.
I know a few of the games.
Fanboys and torches are being lifted right now. People are being called. It's okay.
That's okay. They'll be all right. They will be all right.
It's okay.
Because people will always think that the hero in that game, the non-believers, that the hero in that game is Zelda when she's just the one getting rescued by a guy whose name is Link, the worst name possible. In my opinion, he had a there's symbolism in the name, but that's a totally different subject.
Oh, God.
But still, a different thing. So, my greatest gripe about the game, I would have to say that...
Just pick one. Just pick one.
I know there are so many. I have a lot of gripes. I mean, I think this game could benefit from a tutorial.
And solid state boosters.
Solid state boosters would help a lot. Some SRBs to strap on just jam them right up the back of her, and she could soar over the entire water area.
Do you mean her as in the raft or zombie girl?
I was talking about jamming it up the zombie girl. She's already dead. She's not going to hurt her.
Stop.
Okay. All right. I can't even.
I really did not. I think the game could, because there are some places where I walked into the area and a board. I'm sitting here picking some. I need some of this corn. I'm about to die, and a board just comes and slams them to me, and then it's like, hey, you can dodge that. I'm like, thanks, ass. That was late. And and then there's like another time. It was like, shake your stick at the wolf. I can shake my stick at a wolf all I want. I'm pretty sure that wolf isn't going to care how much I'm shaking my stick at it.
Yeah.
No matter how big the stick is.
That is funny.
So,
So why
uh,
can't you use the stick as a weapon? I'm just saying.
I know she could beat him on the head with a stick. Maybe the wolf doesn't like getting hit with a stick. Maybe he doesn't like sticks. Maybe he swings the other way.
Double
Just see.
entendre.
Yeah, have you ever been smacked with a cattail? You, you know that hurts, right?
Yeah,
Oh
I'm,
no, no,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
sure. I'm pretty
Any
sure
reed-like
a wolf
plant
isn't gonna
is
care.
like a whip when you get hit. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure a wolf isn't going to care if you hit it with a cattail. But she had a really big staff with her. She was walking around. It had like a light in there. I mean, that's a good bashing weapon. In all RPG games, that's a bashing weapon. Beat the hell out of that wolf. Take
Hey,
its stick.
Gandalf kicks some ass with a staff.
Exactly. And then he came back. So I mean, it's not like just like she comes back. She comes back.
I was
all
waiting.
the time.
I was waiting for it. Ah, son of a bitch. Oh my god.
Oh,
But yeah,
man.
that's the game needs something a better tutorial. Give them a don't even give away everything. Just at the very beginning, a better tutorial. Don't doing things on the fly, showing you how to do things. That's cool. Sometimes I made the mistake and clicked off of it by mistake, and I was like, well, how the hell do I get back to that? I mean, I've never used my hotbar because I didn't know how to get items to my hotbar.
Yeah.
Things like that kind of frustrate me and made me kind of lean away from playing it as much as some of the other games I had picked up around the time, which I picked up a lot of games around the time. So it made me just want to play the game less. And as a person, like I'm playing the Solus Project right now, that game doesn't hold your hand. It lets you die really quickly. And I still play it. I enjoy it. There's a lot of mystery to it. The story's there. At the beginning, they give you the story. Hey, look, you're
Right.
going to adventure on this planet, and all of a sudden something comes up and your ship blows up. Oh crap! You're the only survivor. Yay! So bad things happen, but there's a story there,
Right. Gives you purpose to what you're doing.
and that between the lack of a full blown background story about why she's there, and this complete just as I ramble through trying to find things and survive, you giving me a quick blurb. Hey, look, that stick's handy. Oh, what was that? What? That's
Right.
wonderful. I need. I don't want them to hold my hand, but I need to at least know, what is going on here before I get into it.
Right. Nah, I get you. I feel you. All right. Well, overall, Jatois, what is your verdict of the game? Is it a? Would you suggest people play it? Would you suggest people hold off? Is it too niche? You think? What's your overall verdict?
Survival crafting games are a very kind of niche thing already, but if you want a game that is a pretty good challenge and you like the art style, even though the zombie girl might scare a few people, I think it's a pretty
Zombie
good
girl.
game. It flows so well. The gameplay is so fantastic. Admittedly, I don't like I don't like the whitewater rafting part so much, but I actually say the game is worth what they're asking for it. It's a pretty good game. It flows really well. The story's lacking, but for a survival crafting game, stories are not always there. I think the Solus Project is one of the few that actually have a story. So that being said, I tell people go out and give it a try. If you don't like it, hey, Steam does refunds.
Wow. Okay. Cool. As
yeah.
as
Will.
Will has already
Exactly.
expressed.
As evidenced by Will.
Yep. So Will, should we pretty much just skip over you since you
No.
kind of,
No.
have already given your verdict one way or the other? What is your verdict? Just if you have one.
This game is passable. I think a lot of the
Wait,
stuff that's
passable
lost-
as in you should pass over it, or passable as in it's okay?
Okay, listen. A lot of the stuff that's lost.
You've been schooled.
You said
A lot of
God,
this-
ooh, listen.
Linda, listen.
Linda, listen. Oh my God.
A lot of the stuff that's lost in like the inventory menu and the bullshit expectations of like finding old lumber to make fires and
God, you really
all that
hung up on
aside,
that.
like the design of the way you kill the little animal. No, okay, the way you get food.
Yeah, no, you
Like
kill
using
little
traps,
animals. Yeah,
a lot of the elements are really satisfying, but man, mini map. I want to be able to explore bigger land masses instead of just going from island to island. There's so many ways they can improve it to make it really awesome. but I can't walk up to a fence and chop it with my axe and get wood to make a fire. No, I don't think it's that good of a formula from end to end.
All right,
But it
so
could be improved upon, and I think it's, I'll stop there.
well, okay. So how little would the game have to cost before you said, okay, go buy it?
I think once it goes on sale at $10 this summer, I'm definitely gonna pick it up without a thought.
Okay, so it's a $10 game in your mind. Okay,
Sure, I mean, yeah,
all right,
because
fair
definitely,
enough.
I think it's worth a good. I'd probably get tired of it after getting 75% of the way through. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's a bad. That's a bad.
I'd stop playing as soon as the end was in sight. I'd stop playing. I'd be good. Makes perfect sense.
You know what I mean. It's worth $10.
I gotcha. I'm just messing with you. All right, JP Smee, what's your final verdict?
Yeah. So in spite all of the kind of complaints about I don't want to call it bland, but you know what it suffers from not being super original.
It's
with the
formulaic.
formula. Thank
Yeah.
you. That's the formula. It doesn't do anything new. I enjoyed it. I think it was a good experience. I want to play it still. So I mean, say that what you will out of that. Um, I kind of agree though with Will on the price. I feel like because what is the like
The
regular
standard price is
Like
$19.99. We picked it up for
like
$17.99, I
17 or
think.
18 or something. It was like
Yeah.
10% off, whatever. I feel like it was priced a little high. 15 I think would have been a very perfect price for a game
Exactly. I think that's
that had that kind of story or lack thereof, depending on how you look at it. The gameplay that it had, the polish that it had, which by the way I think it was very
Zombies.
polished.
Right.
it was pretty well polished. I give it that.
So yeah, I would say it's definitely worth playing. I would wait until it's on sale. That's just me, but yeah, good
All right.
times.
15 would have nailed it because I mean I think 20 is kind of like an extra tip to them, so a little Starbucks money for the developers, the extra five.
Starbucks
So.
money. Wow. I
Put it in
I mean,
Starbucks terms,
to
that's
be
like 2 trips.
to be completely fair though, like I get that it costs money to make these games
Yes.
and it takes time and resources. That all okay, yeah, but in the end, we are the consumers, and we are going to spend money that we think is worth spending our money on. And Will is a good example here, where $17, $18 was too much for him for the experience that he got. Right,
Right,
so
yeah.
he requested his money back. I get that it sucks for the developers, but we have to be sincere with our feedback on that. So
You like what you like. You can't control
Yeah.
it.
I mean, for instance, I bought H1Z1 for myself and my nephews, and I never tried to do a refund for that. It was just like, well, that's money gone. At least maybe the developer will turn around next time and try to make something better.
Well,
yeah, you can't see my face right now, but I'm just
yeah,
I'm almost glaring at you. It's like why?
pretty much. The old man
Pieces of shit games. H1Z1 is on that list.
shaking his head. Well, my overall verdict, I like the game. I think you definitely already have to be a fan of the genre to kind of get into it. People who are stepping into this kind of game where you do die a lot, and there's really not a lot of there's no tutorial, there's no real intro to the game. You kind of just start and go. I can see how that could definitely turn some people off, and it wouldn't be their cup of tea. I agree with you guys. I think it was priced a little high, as much as I did like the game, and the game does have a lot of polish. I kind of almost feel like $14.99 is still too high. I think it's a solid $9.99 kind of a game. I really like the game. I just don't see it as a $20 game for some reason. It just doesn't. The gameplay that's there is so limited. This is like a good intro game to a bigger, broader, more elaborate survival game. So in that context, I just don't see it being $20.
Now, what if? And this is pure hypothetical. What if later on down the road they come out with an expansion like Don't Starve, for example. Because Don't Starve has had several expansions now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
but then I'd have to pay more money for those.
this is true.
right, but how would you feel about it if they expanded on the core gameplay like that? Because for me, like that actually really added to the Don't Starve
Yeah,
game like a lot.
See, but that depends. I it kind of in that regard it could run the same problem I had with Destiny, where it's like those features then become so common sense. So why weren't these in the initial release? Why am I now having to shell out more money for features that really should have been there from the start? That's what completely turned me away from playing Destiny. And I don't hate what's in the Flame of the Flood right now. I just feel like there's not enough there to justify a $20 price tag.
Fair enough.
And I think if they even if they came out with more expansions, I highly doubt I'd be getting that content for free. So I'm gonna have to be shelling out $4.99, $5.99 for additional stuff that really should have been there from the beginning. I don't know. But I know I kind of went off and sounded really negative about the inventory and the crafting and the combat, but I really do like this game. I can't stress that enough. I've played it for almost 10 hours now, and I still want to keep playing. I want to beat this game. I want to get to the end. I want to see what the kingdom is all about. I want to know if Link really is going to come and stab me in the face.
3 deads, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I really do want to get back to this game. I like it. It's hard for me to describe why I like it because there's a lot of reasons why I don't, but I just can't stop playing it. I think the visuals, I'm a real visual person, and the visual style really jives with me. The audio style really jives with me. And that's it. It does enough to kind of push aside the things that I don't like. So
I think it would be awesome if they let you prepare more and take your time more with the journey, instead of you have to realize, okay, now they make you use up the resources and you have to move on. They make it more about the trip instead of crafting and survival. So it's like, I would love it if they gave you a mini map and let you treat it more like a Minecraft instead of a whitewater rafting
Yeah,
I could see
think,
that.
nightmare.
I think if there was less water and there was more land travel, I probably would have liked it more. Also, if they would have let you create your own character from like an assortment of faces,
Yes.
because I really was not feeling the zombie girl face at all.
It's funny. That was one of those things that I guarantee you in some expansion at some point they are going to add that ability, and that right there would be one of those things that I would look at and go, fuck you, that should have been in the game from the beginning.
Yeah,
I'd
if they
pay
did
for that DLC.
no, because if they did that I would feel insulted. It's like, no, you can't give me the ability to actually go and create my character after the fact.
Right.
After
Yeah.
I've already played the game that far in, then I just be like, it's more of an insult. It's like,
I
that's
feel
what it
like
is.
I'm in some weird minority with regards to that because I actually kind of applaud them for coming up with a character design and being like, this is who you are, and just run with it and not giving you the ability to customize. I mean, it's fun to customize. Don't get me wrong. I love character creation in games, but there's something, I don't know. I feel like it's the development team. They're kind of putting themselves out on a limb, and they're like, "Hey, this is the character I've made for this game. You will play this character," and I feel like I respect them for that, and I really just I was happy with the character I got, and I I think actually creating a character might kind of take away from the experience a little bit, but that's just
Oh,
crazy me. So
I can see
Weird.
that. Yeah, for me, it takes away from the immersion. That's what it does for me.
I
Because
think, yeah,
I'm
I agree
not a
with you,
little
Paul.
girl.
it's
Yeah,
not
I'm
like
not.
it's not
I'm
like
not
I
a little
can.
girl. If I am a little girl, I'm the ugliest little girl ever known to man.
Well, no, yeah, but the same could be said like the world doesn't operate like in Fallout 4. When you go to the mirror, you just reshape your face into whatever you want to be either. So,
Zombie girl.
Zombie. There you go, zombie girl.
All right. Well, I think we've gone on long enough. I think hopefully you out there have a pretty good idea of what we thought about the game, what our thoughts were. Thank you to everybody who joined me today to talk about the game. Thank you, Jatois. Thank you, Will. Thank you, JP Smee. Thanks, everybody, for watching. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Zombie Girl.
Zombie girl, seriously, dude.
Zombie girl, she's scary, man.
A big thank you again to all my guests this week for that lively discussion, and an even bigger thanks to all of you for watching. If you liked what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. Next week, we'll be returning to Life is Strange to give our impressions of Episode 2, so make sure to come back for that. Until then, have a great week.